See, some people have life-changing experiences, right? This could often be after an accident, or maybe when you go to visit a holy place. Strange as it may seem, but I had a life-changing experience at a Swiss bank right here in Hong Kong. Okay, this is my little story. See if it makes any sense to you. In the year 2000, I produced this book on the Swiss community in Hong Kong, the Swiss business community. It was a big success. And I started circulating the book to the French and the Germans and the British and the whole European community really here in Hong Kong. So my next project turned out to be a book on the French. So where would I get a list of French companies? So I went to the French Chamber of Commerce, got the list from there, and in the list I noticed there was a certain bank that I will not name here now, listed in the French business directory, and they had a head office in Paris. What was I to think? I naturally thought they were a French bank. So I sent the usual proposal to the marketing department. Of course, naturally I heard nothing from them for about a couple of weeks. And then I called the boss, the managing director of the bank, which might have then led him to call the marketing director, and then eventually I get this call from an English woman calling me for a meeting, saying, well, we received your proposal, we'd like to discuss it. Would you mind coming over for the meeting? So I show up. The Swiss guy comes in, the boss, managing director of the bank, introduces himself, and then introduces this marketing director with the Julie Andrews haircut. You know, the power Margaret Thatcher suit. I take one look at her and thinking, my gosh, there's no way someone like me would ever get a job in a bank like this. You know? So anyway, so I present the whole thing, and then after I finish, she looks at me and says, you know, I'd like to go in for this book. I'd love to be in the French book, but there are two problems. One, we're not a French bank. We're actually a Swiss bank. So I said, but you have your head office in Paris. She says, well, we also have a head office in Zurich. Well, you were in the French Chamber of Commerce, and she says, well, you know, we are in every Chamber of Commerce directory because we do business with the world. So I said, well, that kind of puts a dampener on this. So she says, well, that's the problem, you see. Had you been sitting here to sell us a proposal to get into the Swiss book, I would have taken that pen and signed the order form right now. So I said, well, I guess so. I said, so the budget wouldn't be a problem? It's 2,000 US. Oh, she says, we're a Swiss bank, for crying out loud. We can find 2,000 US. Can't we, Martin? And there was the the managing director. So I said, well, hang on. So if I was here selling you an advertorial to be published in the Swiss book, you wouldn't have a problem with the budget. You like the book, you would be ready to go ahead. You would take that pen and sign my proposal right now. Is that correct? And she says, absolutely, yes. So I go thinking, now there's only one way to take this conversation. So I tell her, I said, all right, guess what? Today is your lucky day. So I bend down, and at that time I used to carry these briefcases, you know, and I pull out an order form. You guessed it, for the Swiss book. And I said, you know something, today is my lucky day, because we did publish the Swiss book, but it's all over so fast. You know, I can't help it. The book's really popular. So we're going in for a reprint, and this is the right moment for me to put your bank in it. So here you go. And I turned the order form to her. And I picked up the pen that was lying on the table. And I said to her, I said, well, there you go, just there. You should have seen the look on her face. you know. White people we call them white for a reason, you see. She became even whiter. She was, and then you had the Ponce-looking managing director, the chairman of the bank. Suddenly lost his nuts. He looks at me and says, I have a meeting, excuse me. And he squeezed himself out of that tight spot. And there she was sitting down there, and I just looked at her and I said, don't worry. It's quite all right. You've actually done me a huge favor. So because all my life, I have been sitting at the back streets of cities in Asia, looking at these tall temples of greed, these tributes to wealth and prosperity, and watching people like you in these power suits with your Perrier and your Starbucks coffee or whatever, ascending the escalator to your office in the clouds. And I used to look at you and think, oh my gosh, how experienced they must be. How accomplished. Oh, no wonder I can't get a job like this. But today, you've helped change all that. You've shown me that in order to get a job in a top company like this, you gotta be a perfect asshole, a total bullshitter. You need to be able to know which dick to suck, because that could be the only reason why you would call me, knowing fully well that you didn't have any intention. Why waste your time? Why waste the bank's time? And why waste the time of a poor guy who is just trying to move ahead? What do you call me here for? To play with me like a cat with a little fur ball? But you know, thank you. It's because of this meeting that I am going to go back to the little shithole that I came from. And I'm going to earn so much of money that there will come a day when bitches like you would need a machine to count the money I have. And every time I feel dejected, depressed, I meet with obstacles in my corporate life, I will think of you.